Hello and welcome to the video for Thursday, November 5th. This is for interactive design. Let me let you guys in from the waiting room. Hello. How's it going, Trevor? Hi, James.
Hello.
I'm good, Trevor. Just enjoying the end of the week here. Hi, Grady. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm good. I was just laughing, Grady, at Trevor's joke here. He asked me how I'm doing. I said I'm enjoying the end of the week. He said the end of the week or the end of the world. It kind of feels like that. I hope that we get some resolution on this election in the next 24 hours. The sooner the better. I think the best thing to do right now is just keep yourself distracted, hopefully with doing homework. Yes, do schoolwork, and until work yourself into a stupor, and then you won't have to think about it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna have to let's see. I suggest comedy, but yeah, homework too, right? Comedy is a good solution. You know, if any of these streaming companies were smart, they'd release like some major releases right now, some whatever films they have in the can, because they would have a captive audience. I mean, who doesn't want to escape right now? Now, you know what else would be good to do? I mean, if you had the day off, is just go for a hike or something like that. Just get out, get away. Um, okay, so we're missing a couple people, three people that I can think of in particular. So why don't we wait a minute for them to come in before we get started? But until then, maybe I can check in with you guys. How are you doing on this project? Have you got some ideas or maybe some sketches or something you've written down?
I have my human character done away.
And is it in your folder?
Yes. My Project 3 folder, yes.
Let me see if I can go in there and take a look at it. So let's see. We want to do James.
It's it's the file name is literally human, and I don't have a name for my character yet.
Okay. So let me share my screen here. So it's this guy right here.
Yes.
And is he somebody that you made or just?
It's my own character.
Okay. Okay. Well, he looks really good, and
Thank you.
so he's gonna have these like 4 frames basically.
Yeah, that's his walking.
Okay. And what's he gonna do during his idle stage?
Good question. I need to think about that.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be something with him like moving his arms and or maybe his body kind of shrinking and going up and down a little bit. Um, let's see.
Yeah.
Trevor really likes this. James, he says he loves pixel art. Yeah, pixel art is
I
great.
I do too. It's I just find it a lot easier to to work with, really.
Um, yeah, I think it's hard. I don't think I could do pixel art. I think I could do like one pixel painting or something in my life because I just don't. It seems like it requires a lot of patience, and I just don't have that. But yeah, it does look really good.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
Now, I do have one suggestion for you, James, that you could do. I'm going to do this demo for you later, but you could just switch back and forth between two of the frames, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's see. I gotta go to my folder here. Not that one. Where is it? Oh, this one. Okay, so let me show you this. So see this guy's idol right here? You know, it's basically just 2 frames. You know, it's the first frame and the second frame of his walk cycle, right? Now,
Okay.
this is
Hmm.
not the most interesting idol there is. You know, it looks like exactly what it is the beginning of a walk cycle. So you could probably, maybe you could create, you know, 1 or 2 frames that would have him doing something interesting, like, you know, maybe he's raising his arms up a little and bending down, or maybe he's, you know, maybe he's looking to the right and putting his hands on his hips, and then looking to the left and putting his hands down or something. You know, you could do something much more interesting than this, but I just did this as an example, right?
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Does anybody else have an idea uh, of their project that they want to share with us? A sketch or just a verbal idea? Let's see. So Trevor says, I have a second run of character designs in my folder. All right, then we will look in that folder. Let's see. Okay. Mm, so was this the first round and I need to look for a second? Yeah, the second is to the left. This stuff here? Okay. So did you, Trevor, did you change your idea, or are these just additional characters that add to um, the mix? Well, I can tell that this is the door. Let's see. Yeah, I want the snowman to be the playable character. The skull is the bad guy, the key is a key, and the portal is a door. Okay. So in other words, you've replaced those characters. Now it's going to be a snow man throwing a snowball. There's a portal, and there's the scary monster, and there's the key. Okay, got it. The snowman is a good choice because to make him move, his walk cycle would basically just be his arms moving, because his, you would assume that his little bottom you know, circle would just roll or something like that. Um, I don't know what you could put there to show that it's rolling. I guess you wouldn't really have to do anything, pretty much, unless, I guess you could, because if this bottom shape is not a perfect circle, you could roll it, you know, if you want, and that would be kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool if that was rolling and his head was bobbing a little bit, and then his arms were just kind of, you know, just making little movements like that. That would be a cool walk cycle. He could also just, you know, hang out there in his idle cycle and sort of, you know, bounce up and down kind of thing. Um, but yeah, these look really good, Trevor. Nice job. Okay, hi Amelia, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Hey,
Um,
did you have time to make any more progress on your character design?
I did upload a new character design.
Yay. Okay. I love seeing new work from you guys. Let's see. Amelia, where is your damn, how come I can't see anything in here ever? Uh, all right. To blah. Here we go. This one right here?
Mhm.
Oh, wow. So you went with Pixel?
Yeah, so I wanted to do like a design I've never done before.
Okay.
Um, so I literally spent like 8 hours searching for the perfect like reference online,
Yeah.
and I finally found this one. So I've been so I changed the first one and then I'm working on changing the running one.
Oh, okay. So is this going to be her idol with her facing us?
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, that's a good idea, James. You know how we were talking about your idol for your character?
Yep.
Maybe you could do something like that, like have him face forward, and you could once again you could have him breathing in essence, just basically moving up and down or something like that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, and then
Also,
for the go ahead.
also the character looks nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you James's Amelia, because he also did pixel art. This is his.
That's really good.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
Thank you.
Yeah, I tried to design my own and it was really hard. It was really hard, so I had to find a reference.
Well, your pixel art actually works because I know this is probably like your first try, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's very good for your first attempt.
Thank you.
You're
It,
welcome.
it really is very good. I was just telling them that I think I would suck at pixel art because I have no patience. So I don't think I've ever done it. Um, but yeah, it looks great. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, nice job. And I like how I like how you kept like the color scheme and everything from your original design up here.
Thanks.
Now Trevor asked the question. He says, well, first of all, he says it looks awesome. And then he says, would it be possible to add music to this or would it be annoying? Well, I mean, it's certainly possible to add music, but since this is a whole game that was programmed, before we came along, I don't know how the music, I don't know how it will work within the game. Certainly it would have to be some sort of a loop, right? A musical loop. Now, we can add music into the game simply enough. If I just go out to, don't tell me, oh, what's his name? Oh, come on, help me. Wait, don't tell me. What's the name of that stupid somebody? Oh, that's what it is. Okay, bensound.com. I'm just trying to get this. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. Oh, we can't do ukulele. That drives me nuts. No, we need something very loopy. Oh, this cute one. God. Okay, this sounds like a game. So we're gonna download this thing. Ben Sound Little Idea. Okay, so then we go to Adobe Animate, and we're in the main screen here. So we can then create a new layer and call it sound or music or whatever. I'm going to put it on the bottom here. I'm going to go import to library and then go to my desktop, my downloads, and look for the words Ben Sound. Ben Sound. Ben Sound. Where are you, Ben Sound? Oh, this is weird. It's not letting me import. Oh, here it is. This is why. You guys, this may happen to you too. See this drop-down menu here? See how it just says enable and it's only allowing a certain kind of audio to come in? You can change that to all files and then you'll get everything in here. So Little Idea is the one that I want. Now, the problem that I see with this is here's the huge problem with this idea, Trevor. I just noticed that this whole animation, this whole game is on one frame, right? So that's kind of problematic. Now, one way we could solve this is actually kind of a clever trick, is you could make a movie clip, which is all the music, right? Let me show you what I mean. Let's say that I made a square. Well, I guess that's not a square, just some kind of random rectangle, right? Let me go ahead and select this background color here and get rid of the frame on it. Okay, so now I'm actually going to make a square. Okay, now let's say I make a little square and I say modify, convert to symbol, and I make this a movie clip and I call this sound, right? Okay, so now this is a movie clip, right? Now, it also happens to be on the sound layer here, where I tried to just insert my, well, I didn't insert my music yet. Okay. Anyway, so now I've got this square, which is a movie clip. Now, if I double click on it, I get my own timeline here, right? And if I want to, I can open up my library where I have my sound. And here it is, the bend sound. And I can simply drag it onto the stage. And what it does is it puts the sound here. Now, it's only going 1 frame here because I only have 1 frame indicated as the length of this movie clip. If I come way down here to like, well, we'll just go down to 9 seconds, and I click on my F5 key, it's going to, keep the sound going that long. Now, I could go a lot longer than this. Here, I'll just go, I don't even know how long this damn sound is. Let me see if that will work. Okay. All right. So now I've got my sound in this movie clip, right? Which is this little box. And so now I can go back to my main screen here. I can take my sound and I can just basically, hide it by putting it on my screen here. It's going to be impossible to see, but it's there, right? So now theoretically, we don't know what's going to happen, but theoretically that music should play when we watch the game. Now, of course, if I really wanted to do this correctly, I would figure out how long the clip was, and I would make my movie clip exactly that long so that it would, loop back, and I would have to make sure that the music was looping music, that started right where it ended, right? Well, anyway, let's test it and see if we even get any sound. There you go. Now, the way to do this would be to get a sound clip that was either designed to loop or take some audio and go into Adobe Audition and make it so that it loops by either, creating your own music that comes back around and fits perfectly at the beginning, or maybe taking the sound and lowering the volume so it fades out and then fade it back in, right? And then you could have this perfect little loop of music going the whole time. I think that's a really good idea, Trevor. And I think you guys, if you're so inclined, feel free to add some music to this. Now you ask, would it be annoying? Well, potentially, music in video games can be annoying, but it also can be really fun. Now, one thing you could add is a stop all sounds command, right? If people wanted to turn that off. So let's remember how that goes. So first of all, we got to look at what kind of file we're in now. This is an FLA, which means it's actually just an ActionScript 3 file, right? So it's not HTML5, which is what we've been using, which means this could never really exist on the web. It can only exist as, a package, like, something that you would email to somebody as a complete game, because, you can't play Flash on the web right now. But let's say that you did want to put music in there and you wanted to give people the ability to stop the music, right? So what you could do is you can make a new button. So I'm going to make a new layer here, and I'm going to call this stop music. And you can make whatever button you want. Probably the most obvious thing to do would be a speaker with a no symbol over it. But I'm just gonna pick some random shape here and put it on as my end music button, right? Oh, come on, stupid thing. Okay, there we go. I think it's because my stop music button is too low in my layer stack here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I can delete this guy here. All right, so here's my stop music button, right? So I'm gonna modify that. I'm going to convert it to a symbol. I guess I'll make it a button, and I'll call it stop music, just so I know what the heck it does. Okay, now I'm gonna have to add some action script to that will stop all the music, which means that I need to give that a name. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here to properties. While I have this clicked on, I'm gonna go into instance name and I'm gonna call this, stop dash music, right? Okay. It doesn't want me to put the dash in there. So I'll just call it stop and then capital M music. Okay, so now when I write some action script that says whenever somebody clicks on this to stop all sounds, then it'll refer to the stop music button, the button that has the instance name of stop music. Now, stop all sounds is a little different in HTML5. We've looked at that code before than it is in Flash, right? Now let me see. The first thing we would do is check to see if there is an existing code snippet that would allow us to do this. So I would make a new layer here, and I would call it actions. Okay, and then what I would do is I would go and open up my actions window. Let's see. I would open up my code snippets. And of course, now with this game, whenever you do anything in this game, it's got to be ActionScript, not HTML5. Okay, so we're going to open ActionScript. We're going to look at the different options that are here. So I'll just open up actions. I don't see anything in there. So I'd have to try a few of these to see what happens. Animation, audio and video. I guess that's where I should have gone first. Okay, here we go. Click to play stop sound, click to stop all sounds. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll double click. Let's see. I could probably use my wizard on this and get this to work. Let me see if I can. Well, I'm going to try a couple different things. So first thing is I'm going to select this item right here, and then I'm going to double click on click to stop all sounds. Double click. Okay, it's going to drop that code in, and sure enough, it identified that the instance name for that button was stop music. So it said stop music, add event listener. So now that button is listening for an event. The event it's listening for is a mouse click. If it hears a mouse click, if you click on that button, it's going to do a function which is called click to stop all sounds. And right below that line of code is the function. You can see it's listed. Here's a function. It's called click to stop all sounds. Inside there, it has the actual code which stop the sounds, which is sound mixer dot stop all. Okay. So, and by the way, you notice the click to play stop sound. So, there's also one here, click to play sound. So if somebody wanted to turn the sound off, you could do that. And then you could use this other one to get them to turn it back on again, right? Okay, so now theoretically, this should work. So when we launch this game, it should play. When I click this little blue button, it should stop all the music. Okay. There you go, right? So yeah, the rule of thumb is if you add music to anything, whether it's a game or a website or whatever, there's actually two rules. One is always give people the ability to turn it off, right? And if you're going to give them the ability to turn it off, you might as well give them the ability to turn it on again, right? But the other is when you're bringing somebody to some form of media. Oops. Okay, there's one thing that we noticed is it loops, and so when it gets back to the beginning, it played it again. So that's something I would have to probably put a stop command at the end of my music, right? My movie clip. Now, the other thing I was saying while that interrupted is whenever you have sort of a captive audience and you bring them to some form of media, whether it's a website or whatever, you generally don't play sound, okay? It's considered bad form, right? In other words, if somebody goes to your website, the internet is for the most part silent unless you choose to click on something like a YouTube video and then you hear things, right? And most people are used to that. Most people don't like it when they go to a website and they're bombarded by sound, even if it's just pleasant environmental sound in the background. They don't want that. They didn't choose that. So the rule of thumb is that if you want people to be able to play music or listen to sound on your website or on your interactive presentation or whatever, give them a button that has a little speaker on it that says sound on, and have the little line over it right there that says that the sound is off right now, so that they know if they click on that, they can turn the sound on and then when they turn the sound on, there's always a button to turn it off. In other words, you want to treat your customers, your viewers, just like you would, guests in your home. You wouldn't show them to their bedroom and inside there's AC/DC, Back in Black, like, just kind of coming out of the speakers at the wall. They're like, how do you like your room? Hey, sorry, the sound button's broken, but I hope you like AC/DC, So anyway, that's the rule. Okay. Now, as far as starting it up again, click to play stop sound. Let's just try that, see how it works, right? So I'll make another button. This time it'll be a circle, and we'll make it orange or red, I guess. We'll go back here to our, let's see, to our stop music. We'll go ahead and we'll put it on the stop music layer, even though I should really create a brand new layer. We'll go ahead and make a little red circle here. We'll convert that into a button as well. This one we'll call start sound. Okay, and then over here we will give it the instance name of start sound. Okay, and now we'll do the same thing. That's selected, so we'll go into our action script here. We got to make sure our actions window is open so we can see what happens. And then we have to double click to play stop sound. So let's double click that. Now, click to play stop sound. Clicking on the symbol instance plays the specified sound. Clicking on the symbol instance a second time stops the sound. Oh, this is cool. So this will be both the start and the stop button, right? Now, it says instructions, replace the blah, 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 blah link below with your sound clip, right? I guess. So what you have to do is you have to link. This is one where it actually has you link to your sound at a URL, right? And so you can see here's, let me open this up a little more so we can see this easier. Okay, see how there's this example of the sound there, right? So let's just leave all this as it is. And let's see if it can start and stop this, this sound right here. Now, it's going to require that I click my blue button first to stop the sound that's already playing, but then I should be able to click this to start and stop that sound, the example sound. Okay, so we're going to test it. Okay, I turn off my little sound. Now this button should start the Adobe sound. And it's not working. So, I can only assume that the reason it's not working is because this is pretty old code. Flash, nobody's really using ActionScript 3 to develop web interactions anymore because it's so old. So, okay, so let me go back into that ActionScript and see if I can change it to point to just the sound clip we have inside of here. Let's see. So it says this keeps track of whether Flash sound channels, sound new URL request. Okay. If I drop this sound in the same folder as my Flash file, I might be able to get it by just putting the name of the file in here. It's something like Ben Sound Little Idea or something like that. Let me look it up real quick. Let's see, library, Ben Sound dash Little Idea. Okay, Ben Sound dash Little Idea. Okay, so now let's see. I don't know if this is going to work or not. We'll try a little hack here. Okay, now I gotta remember where this thing is saved because I'm gonna have to put it in the same folder. So I'm gonna go save as, and I've got this folder called Student Files 3, Side Scroller Part 3, and I'll just call this, let's see, it's got this incredibly long, stupid name. Let me just call this Greg file.fla. Okay, so anyway, it's in the Student Files 3 inside my downloads. Okay, so now what I can do, I can go to my downloads. I can grab that Ben Sound file. Ben Sound, where are you, Ben Sound? Ben Sound. Okay, Ben Sound, little idea. Okay, so I copy that. Okay, then I come down to student files 3. Student files 3. And then side scroller part 13. And then there's the Greg FLA, right? So if I put my Ben Sound little idea in here, because when you publish this, when you preview the file, you're actually publishing it. And it publishes it right here in this folder. And because I put the link, without any path to it, I'm basically saying it's in the same folder as the published file. So theoretically, it should find that, but we won't know until we try it out. Okay. Test movie and animate. Yep, it works. See, this will start it, and clicking on it again will stop. So this is all you guys need to do. This is a great system for you guys. If you want to add a start and stop button, just make an object, turn it into a button symbol, make it look like something that plays music, and just, write the word music under there, unless you think, sorry, unless you think that just a speaker icon will communicate to your audience. They'll know that they see that they can play music. You don't have to write the word music underneath it if you think the visual alone will do it. And this is great because then you avoid this whole thing about the looping, which is what this thing is doing. Then you don't have to put in any additional code. You don't have to do that little movie clip trick or anything. You can just start and stop the sound with that one button. Okay, so good question, Trevor, and hopefully that answered it. Okay, does anybody else have any other things that we can look at as far as like graphics or ideas or anything for this project?
I have a question, Greg.
Yeah.
So, in another class, when you said that our new items need to be the same size, do you mean like a file size or like physically, like the same shape size?
Well, I meant physically the same shape size, but that's let me modify that a little. That's not 100% true, in that, let's say that the door is this wide and you happen to make your door graphic a little wider than that. That's fine, right? But if you make your door graphic this big and don't change its size, when you swap it out with the other graphic, it's going to be in the wrong place and you're going to have to move it around, right? So my suggestion to you was, if at all possible, make the graphics the same size as the existing ones, because then when you swap them out, they'll be in the right place. Now that's not always possible. Sometimes the character is a man and you want to put it in a whale, which is longer than it is tall, right? So if that happens, you just might have to do some resizing and repositioning. Okay. All right, so I want to show you a couple things today. First of all, I want to show you a demo that I did. That demo that I did on Tuesday was pretty funny because I was just warping the character and moving around and putting these little janky arms on him and stuff, but it wasn't really very good. So I made a second demo for you today that's much better. And I want to show you what I did. I want to show you the possibilities of what you can do with this character, right? So first of all, what I wanted was, instead of a janky little character that moves his arm around, I wanted a character actually walking. So that meant that I needed to create a walk cycle. Now, instead of creating one, because I didn't have very much time, I just grabbed one off the internet. So what I did was I went to, my favorite vector website, which is Vecteezy. And I just typed in walk cycle and I found this little man, right, doing his walk cycle. So I downloaded that and opened it up in Adobe Illustrator. So now I have, these 8 little guys that are the walk cycle. Now, what's nice about using vector art, or even creating vector art for use in Animate, is it will cut and paste right into the program, right? So what I did at that point was I just copied each one of these guys and pasted him in where I wanted him. Now, let me show you an example of that. So first, let me show you the finished product, and then we'll go back and look and see how I did it, right? So let's see, let's go back to animate. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this button because I don't want that music playing, and then we'll just leave this music in case we feel like turning the music on or off during our presentation here, right? Now, here's my game. Oh shit. Wow, somehow killing that. Let me do this. Oh, I know why. It's because I still had actions on here. Let me just kill all the music because we're not going to use it. And that'll solve our problem. Okay. Sorry. Isn't this perfect? Oh, we put this thing in here and now it just becomes like the nightmare to end all nightmares, right? Oh, music, it's easy. Don't worry about it. Oh, come on. Just like a few minutes ago, this was working just fine and now it's just completely janked up. Okay, I have an idea. I'm glad about this. I'm gonna try and revert this to my save version, the pre-janked up version of this. Oh no, I saved when these guys were in there. Okay, fine. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave everything as it is, and we're gonna turn the music off. Perfect. Now that music's gonna come back in because I didn't stop looping it. Now, let me show you what I got here. So I got my idle state, and for the idle state, I just have the guy, moving between 2 frames. Now, granted, this is not perfect. You could do something way more interesting than this. You could have somebody, just kind of like bobbing their head back and forth or checking their watch or, bouncing up and down or whatever. This is just to show you can use just a couple frames. You can use just a couple frames to have him do his thing, right? Okay. Now, what I really wanted for this was the walk cycle, and I got it. So watch this. He's idling, and now he's walking, right? I got him walking. And then he's got, obviously the idle is the worst part of this, but the walk looks pretty cool. Now, the only other state other than idle and walk is jump. Sorry about that. I got to get this demo done before that thing comes around again. Now for jump, it's very easy. You just put 1 frame in and you just angle him at the angle you want him to be when he's jumping. So watch this. When he jumps, he looks like that. I just simply leaned him forward in a pose that looks like he's jumping, right? And look, if he's facing the other direction, he automatically flips and jumps that way. Okay, so we'll just kill that, right? Now, let me go ahead and show you how I made all this happen, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to this file here, which is one of my students' versions of the game. It's Cassandra, and she made this cake boy, right? By the way, hello, Latisse, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Hey, did you have any graphics or ideas or anything to share with us today?
No, I do, but I haven't really dropped them in yet. I'm not ready.
Okay, all right. I like what Trevor said. Ben sound the music of nightmares. Yeah, you guys are all gonna be freaking out, waking up in the middle, wake up, dun 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 dun. Dun. I'm sweating. Okay, so let me show you how I replaced all the states of this guy with my guy that I have in Illustrator right now. Okay, first of all, we have the idle state, right? You click on the idle state here, you click on your guy, you double click on him, and this is your idle state. Now, in the case of Cassandra, she just has the guy floating up and down, which is a perfectly legit thing to do. She just has him, if I loop this right here, this is his idle state, which requires no animation whatsoever. It's just, well, I take that back. There's some animation, he's just floating up and down, right? But that's perfectly legit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put in 2 frames of my guy so it just looks like he's doing a little 2-step here. Now it's really easy to do. What you do is you make a new layer, right? Let me turn off this looping thing here. You create a couple blank keyframes. Now in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the other frames. And I'm going to leave her little character there so I know where to put mine, right? Now, all I have to do is go to this first frame here, go to Illustrator, click on my, first frame of my guy, copy him, go back into Adobe Animate and just do edit, paste, and hit OK. And there he is. Now, I want all my guys to be exactly the same size, and this guy is way too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to I'm going to click on him. I'm going to go over here to my properties, and I'm going to look at his width and his height, right? And I'm going to go ahead and reduce his height by half. So instead of, 380, I'm going to make him like 90 or some, I'm sorry. Let's see, 150, let's see, that's 45.
143 or something.
Well, let's see, it's 150 plus 45, 195, right? So I'm just going to make him 190 just for grins, right? Okay, now I click 190, and what it does is it shrinks him down, right? Now I take him and I have to position him, in the same place as this little cake boy guy, right? Now I go to my second frame and I insert a blank keyframe. And now I got to bring in the second frame in Illustrator. So I'm going to click on this guy, copy him. I'm going to go back into Adobe Animate, and I'm just going to paste him in there. Now this guy is also too big, so I'm going to click on him and change him to the same height of 190, right? And what I need to do now is, unfortunately, what it did was every time I pasted him in, it made a new layer. So I got to take this second guy and I got to drop him in so he's the second frame of the same layer, right? So we have that guy down there, and then we have the new guy up there. Now to get them in the same place, I turn on my onion skin, this button right here, and I drag this guy so he's at the same height as this guy, right? Basically the same position. Okay. All right, now this layer right here is my man, right? And then all I have to do is delete all these other layers, which are essentially junk. And now I have my loop, which is this guy moving incredibly fast, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and change my frame rate to 6 frames per second instead of the 30 that she had. And now the guy just kind of does this thing, right? Now, if we want to test this out, we go back to scene 1, and we, test our movie. And there's the guy, right? Just doing his idle. Now, let's go ahead and replace the next one, right? So, well, actually, let's replace the easy one, which would be the jump. The jump only has 1 frame in it. So the first one is the idle. The second one is the running. And the third one is the jumping. Now you can tell if you click on each one, it says over here what the name of each frame is: idle, running, and jumping. Now, if we click on this third one here, the jumping one, and then we click on the object on the stage and double click on it, it launches us into whatever frames are there. And the only frame that is here is just Cake Boy, right? So it looks like all she did was put Cake Boy there in that position. She didn't even make it so that there's a movie clip or anything, because all you need is this guy, because when you go to the jump state, when you hit the up arrow, it just changes to that, right? So that's all I have to do, is I just have to put my guy in the jump state there. So I can click on Cake Boy and delete him, right? I can go back to my Adobe Illustrator and I can find the guy that looks the most like he's jumping. In my case, I think it might be a guy with his knees bent like this. And so I can copy him, paste him in here. And obviously he's too big, so do the same kind of reduction on him, right? Bring him down to where he would be. And then, of course, rotate him so it looks like he's jumping. Okay. All right, so now we've got the jump state. Now notice it put this on a whole new layer. So I've got to grab that and drag it down to be the third frame in this layer, and then just delete the extra layer. Okay, so now when I test this out, it looks like the jump state is the one that comes down, right? From at the beginning, and then he's in idle. Whenever I push my up button, he jumps. Now there's something I notice about this, which is, I changed my frame rate to 6, and instead of 30, and the whole game is moving really slow. So let's see what I can do to fix that. Well, first of all, if I want to fix it, I got to go back and turn my frame rate back up to 30. Now what that means is, that on this idle state, I'll double click on it so we can see the idle state is just these 2 frames. It means on my idle state that I'm going to need each one of these guys to be like on stage for like 15 frames before it switches to the next guy. Because otherwise, if they're on frames 1 and 2, it's just going to be like this kind of thing. So I can grab my second thing here, my second guy, drag him down to frame 15, right? And then what I can do is I want to keep this guy on stage for about 14 more frames. So let's see, or let's make it till 30, right? So go down to frame 30 and hit F5. Oops, I hit it twice. Okay, and so now the first guy is there for basically half a second, and then the second guy is there for half a second, right? So let's see if that's slow enough for my idle. Okay, I like that. I actually like it being kind of slow like that. And now when I do things like jump, it goes really quickly. It goes at the speed it should go. And then my guy's just kind of hanging out there. I like that. That works well. Okay, now the third and final thing we have to do, and by the way, if you guys have a question, you can just jump in. Or
I have a question, Greg.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, I wrote down how to change the jump, but how do you get to where you would change the jump? I missed that.
Okay, let me show you. Okay, this is your main movie, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what you have to do, everything that has to do with changing this character is on the player level layer. So what you do is you first click on the character on your screen, so it's selected, right? Mm-hmm. Then you double click on that. Now look, it takes you into a movie clip, which is this character, and that movie clip has 3 additional, basically movie clips in it. The first one is the idle state, the second is the running, the third is the jumping. Now, to get to something like the idle state, what you do is you click on the very first frame, click on the object on the stage, and once again, you double click on it. Now watch the timeline change. If I double click on it, see how the timeline changed to now we're in my movie clip, which just has the 2 frames on it, right? Now, if I want to go back one layer, or I'm sorry, one stage, I go back here to scene 1 and I click to the left, and now we're back in this movie clip, which has the 3 different states in it, idle, running, and jumping, right? Mm-hmm. So now if I want to go to my jump state, I could click here, click on the guy, double click on it, and it would take me into the jump movie clip. Now in this case, in Cassandra's case, she eliminated that movie clip, but in your case, there actually is a movie clip there, and all it has is a picture of the little man, because I gave you guys the default file. Now here's the really hard one. I'm sorry, did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, now the most difficult one, of course, is the walking, or what they're calling the running. Now you guys can use as many or as few frames as you want. You could have the guy just moving between 2 positions if you want. I wanted to show you what it looks like when you use a full walk cycle, in this case, 9 different guys, right? So if I go here to the running, Cassandra has just angled the guy so it looks like he's floating through space. Once again, perfectly legitimate, but not as complicated as you could get. So I click on the running layer here. I click on the guy on the stage and then I double click on it. Now, once again, Cassandra has eliminated the movie clip that was here. There was a movie clip that was here and she got rid of it. So, you know, unfortunately, I can't use him as my movie clip, right? So that means what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make a brand new movie clip and put it in here, okay? Now, let me show you how I would go about doing that. So let's see. I'm trying to figure out which way I want to do this. What is this guy here? I want to see what he is real quick. So he is considered just a group. Okay. So I think what I want to do with this guy, let's see. On just this, yeah, okay, here we go. I figured it out. So first of all, I'm going to get rid of Cake Boy, right? Because Cake Boy doesn't do it for me. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace him with one of my still graphics, and then I'm going to turn it into a movie clip. All right, now I'll show you how I'm going to do this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a guideline down, which shows me the level at which this guy needs to be. So I'm going to go under View, Rulers, and then I've got these little rulers here. I'm going to grab the ruler and I'm going to drag down and I'm going to drag out this little blue line, which shows me the quote ground that this guy is walking on, right? Okay, now I'm going to go to this second frame here, which is Cake Boy. I'm going to delete Cake Boy, okay? Then I'm going to go back to my Illustrator document. I'm going to grab this first guy here, copy him, come back to animate and paste him in. And of course, I'm going to resize him. I'll click on him and make him 190 like all my other guys. Okay. Now I'm going to put this guy where he needs to be right here. And of course, it put him in on a new layer. So I have to remember that and I have to grab that guy and drag him down here right in the middle frame here, which is the one, which is the running, right? Okay, so now I've got a guy. He's just simply a graphic. He's not a symbol or anything, right? Next thing I'm going to do is turn him into a symbol. Modify, convert to symbol, and I'm going to make him a movie clip. And I'll call him, you know, running dash man or something like that. Okay, so now we've got just a flat symbol on the stage. Now what I want to do is open that symbol up and put in an entire walk cycle. So I click on the symbol on the stage, I double click on it. Sure enough, it launches me into my own little timeline for this guy, right? Now what I need to do is I need to put in 9 frames of this guy walking. Because they're too big, I need to resize each one, and then I need to put them all in the correct place. So I'm going to do that. So first of all, I got my first guy here, and he's actually the correct guy for the first frame. So I think I'm okay with him. So I'm going to go to my second frame. And by the way, this will speed up things for you. If you hit the period key, you move forward 1 frame. If you hit the comma key, you go back, right? In addition, if you hit this little square right here, you can click on it and you can either insert a keyframe, or you can click on hold on it and you can insert a blank keyframe, right? Now that's what I want to do, is insert a blank keyframe, because now I'm going to put in my second guy, right? Now, in addition to having the second keyframe here, I also want to turn on my onion skin, because that will allow me when I'm in the second frame to show me where the guy was in the first frame, right? Now, unfortunately, when I paste this guy in, he's going to paste it on a new layer, and I'm going to have to drag him into this blank keyframe here. But that's not hard to do. So, okay, back to Illustrator. I basically have 8 guys I have to paste in here. So I click on the first one, Command C to copy him, go in here, Command V to paste him. Of course, like I said, he pastes in on a new layer. So first thing I'm going to do is click on him, change him to the appropriate height. Then I'm going to grab him and drag him down to the correct position. You know, line him up with this guy. And then I'm going to grab his frame there and drag it into the second position here. Now, I'm going to get a bunch of empty layers on top here, and that's fine. I'll just deal with them, right? Now, because I know there's going to be a total of 9 frames, I can go ahead and save myself some time by inserting blank keyframes, you know, inserting 9 of them. So I'll just do that real quick. So that's 4, 5.
Hey, Greg, how do you know it's 9? Did I miss something?
The reason I know it's 9 is because when I go back to here, oh, I'm sorry, it's 8.
Okay. So it just depends on how many
Yeah.
frame poses you have in your cycle.
Yeah. So my bad. I had 9, and I said 9, and Latisse unfortunately knows how to count.
No, I didn't even count it. I was trying to figure out where 9 even came from.
No. That's fine. I'm just giving you a hard time. Yeah, no, thank you. Actually, you just saved me some trouble. Okay, so now we've got the first 2 guys in there. Let's get the 3rd guy in there. And this process is just the same thing 6 more times over. So I'm just going to do it. And here we go. So copy. It doesn't really matter where I put the playback head, because he's going to paste it on a new layer anyway. So I mean, I can drag him down here to the correct position. I have to do all these same steps. I guess it doesn't really matter what order you do them in. But you know, ultimately you just got to get them in the right place at the right time, right? Okay, so there's 3. Now, of course, you guys can create your own artwork, and most of you will probably. But what you could do, if it's helpful to you, you could download a walk cycle like this for free from a place like Vecteezy and use it as a model. And then if you're making pixel art or whatever, just make your character in all these different stages, and then use them instead of these guys, right? Okay, so now let's see. I pasted the next guy. Move him down. Okay, so like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and paste these next guys in without any commentary, unless I think of something super important, so I can get these done and then we can look at them. Okay, so now I've got my 8 guys in there. I'm gonna remove any extra frames by right-clicking and saying remove frames. I'm gonna remove any extra layers that it created when it was pasting things in by shift-clicking on all these layers and clicking my trash can. And then I'm going to hit my loop here and drag this out. Now, one thing I already know for certain, this guy's gonna move way too fast, because this thing is at 30 frames per second, which means he's going to be doing, you know, like almost 3 complete rotations every second. So if we watch him, you know, he's doing this crazy kind of looping, you know, so I guess he is really doing a run. It's like one of those, what do they call it when you walk run?
Yeah, he's like trying to get away fast. He's like, gotta go right now.
Right now. If you want to slow, now I have to keep my frame rate at 30 because the game doesn't look right if I don't do that. So what you can do is you can extend the length of time that each frame is on the screen. So what I can do is I can shift click all of these guys and move them down so that that first frame stays all the way until frame 5, right? Then I can take this second frame and leave it there, you know, deselect that, select all the other ones. And I can leave that second frame there till frame 10, right? So that's 5 and that's 6 through 10, right? I can do the same thing here. So make this one stay till 15. Make this one stay till 20. This one stays till 25. This one stays till 30. This one stays till 35. And then this one stays till 40. Hitting my F5 key on that last one. Okay. Now, when I rewatch this, now he's doing a casual stroll through the game.
No sense of urgency.
Yeah, no sense of urgency. So, you know, and once again, you can play with this. I forget which key it is. There's some special key that you can hit to delete frames. You know, but let's say I wanted to get rid of 2 frames at a time in each of these sections. I could just highlight 2 frames and right click and hit remove frames. There's not that many. I forget what the quick key command is to remove frames. It's something really easy, but I can do this so quick that I don't even have to bother looking it up because I'm almost done, you know. So I remove a couple of frames in each one of these sections, keeping them all exactly the same length so that the animation looks right. And now when I watch it again, he's moving at a slightly better clip, right? Okay, so now I've got my guy, I pasted all of the, you know, different versions of the walk cycle in there in order. And once again, that's all part of my running clip. So now when I go test my movie, you know, there he is, he's idling, right? When I get him to run, he's doing this kind of, you know, casual walk run, right? When I want him to leap, he goes into the jump mode, right? And then I can have him walk around up here and so on and so forth, right? Okay, so that's it. So, you know, I was able to take this guy, take the existing game and replace the existing art with, you know, my choice of art, and then put an idle state in where he's doing something, you know, just to be there, you know, hanging out. A jumping state, which in this case is just some sort of forward movement, angled, looks like he's jumping. And then of course the walk cycle, which is, you know, more complicated, but you guys know you can do a walk cycle that's you know, a walk cycle can be as few as 2 frames, but the more frames you put in, the more complex it gets, the better it actually looks. So, you know, this is a big long walk cycle. 8 frames is a long walk cycle, and that's going to look pretty good in the game. Okay, one thing I wanted to tell you guys, and you'll pick this up really quickly if you haven't already. When you're testing your game out, you have to click on it in order to activate it. In other words, if I don't click on this screen here, I get this error message. So you have to click on the screen and then you can start using it, right? It just kind of activates the game, right? Okay. Now, of course, you're also going to replace things like the creature there, the monster. You're gonna I guess I got to go over here to where the key is. You're gonna replace that key there. Up near the top is the door.
And we just
You know, and of course there'll be a weapon. When you hit the space bar, it fires whatever weapon that is, right?
Cool.
Now, what's going to happen is you're going to find all of those things inside of the library. And, you know, like, for example, here is Cassandra's locked door, right? And all I would have to do is put my own piece of artwork in here in place of hers, and then it would be my door that would show up instead of hers, right? Now, and that's true of all of these things. There's something in here which is called the, let's see, the enemy, right? She has it as a cookie right now. I could just open up that symbol and place something else in there. Here's the key. I can just replace that with my own art. Here's the bullet. I can replace that with my own art. It looks like a turnip, doesn't it? It's supposed to be a kiss, you know, a candy kiss.
Aw,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it looks like a turnip. Oh, power walk. That's right, Trevor. That's what I was looking for. That word that means you're walking, but you're sort of walk running or whatever. Okay. Now, the next thing I wanted to do was I wanted to show you guys some stuff for the purposes of inspiration. Now, one of the things you guys know is that you can change in this game is the background, right? And the background, of course, is going to set the tone for your game. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you some, just some galleries of backgrounds that I found for side-scrolling games. So this, of course, is Pinterest. And what we have here is somebody's collection of backgrounds for side-scrolling games. And so, you know, these, of course, are gorgeous, and people spent inordinate amount of times developing them. But, you know, it just gives you some inspiration for things that you could do. You know, all kinds of different backgrounds. Here's one that looks like it's in a graveyard. Here's one that's sort of the traditional pixel background, right? Here's a cave. So, you know, if you guys get a chance, you can click on this link and you can see all these different ones. Here's a forest. And maybe it will inspire you for to make something for your game, right? Now I have a second one here as well, a second link. This is also Pinterest, and this is just somebody else's collection. And you'll see these are very different. These are like more simple, like this, right? Here's a cool one. So, you know, you can do whatever you want as far as the background. Here's one that's a desert, you know. Now keep in mind that you can actually change multiple things about this game. There is the background itself, which is, in this case, let me zoom out of this. There's the background itself, which is this big blue thing, right? You can replace that with anything you want. But then you can also go in and you can find these palm trees and you can replace them with anything too. Like, see right here, the palm tree is broken up into a palm trunk. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's the actual palm tree itself. So you see where these palm trees are located. You could open that up and just put your own art in there. And now you would have something else there, like maybe a building or something, right? And then you can also replace each of these layers here, these little levels, if you will. There's the door. Notice the door is way up there. That's where you're going to replace the door. Here's where the key lives. So everything in here is replaceable, right? And what you want to do is create something cohesive where the background and your character and these you know, these land levels and the key and the monster and the door are all something that fit together. Okay. And of course, I'll be happy to help you with any questions or problems you have with this. Now, I did want to show you guys, I did actually manage to write my student and get her to send me the file that I was looking for. Let's see. I think it's in this. Yeah. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, game.zip. Okay, great. Wait, I know I'm signed in as Greg Lamont. Come on, download this. How do I do this? Download. Student files. Is it working? Okay, cool. All right, so open this. Open game 3, open student files. Now I want to remind you guys once more of this. when you make your game, you have to save it in the same folder as the original game. Save your game under a different name so you can always go back to the original if you mess anything up, right? So the original game is called like, you know, side scroller step 13 CS6, right? It's got some crazy name there, right? But here, Vaughn made her game, and she saved it as Vaughn Pham game, right? Now, I wanted to show this one to you because she actually did some really clever things here. So like the first thing she did was she replaced her character with a guy, a pizza delivery guy on a scooter, right? And so if we check this out, you can see what's happening here. The guy is actually moving up and down like he would if the scooter were running, right? Now, I don't think you can see this, but we figured out a way to make it look like the wheels were turning. What we did was we just took these little white sort of semicircles of white, and we just animated them so that they rotated around. And what it did was it made it look like the wheels were turning. And I think this is an earlier version of the game, so you don't get to see that. But you can see, here's her character, right? I click on the screen to activate it. You can see the character. Oh, there it is. It's when it's moving. You see the little white?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it makes it look like it's turning, right?
That's
Now,
awesome.
also, here's her jump state, which looks like a bike jumping, which is very
Sweet.
cool,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Now,
awesome.
look at, there's her monster. Now, this is what's funny. I think her monster is a, it's a plastic bag.
Heck, that's what I thought too. I got
Yeah, it's a plastic bag, right? So here we go. We get the bad guy, right? Now, we jump up to this level and see how she's replaced her palm tree with this other cool tree.
yeah.
Now I'm no good at this. I can't get up to that level with the house on it, but she's replaced her key with a house because the goal of this game is to deliver the pizza to the different houses, right?
Right.
So it's just a really cute game, and it's very simple. She just put some effort into the graphic, and then also into thinking about how to simply animate that graphic so that the idle state was very effective and so that the movement state was very effective.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not as complex as mine where I had 8 different frames. She just has a couple frames of the guy moving up and down on the bike, and then a couple frames of the wheels turning when in the run state. And
I
then
like how
this,
she has the hand move too.
the hand moves.
Yeah, watch when you see how he pulls the.
Oh, you're right. I never noticed that. That's
cute.
cool. Good eye. And then of course the jump state is just angled. So that one's easy. So really focus on creating a really cute character. Think of a really clever jump or idle state, you know, just a couple frames that can have them hanging out there. Think of a clever run state where you know, use as few frames as necessary to produce something that looks like movement. And then of course the jump state is easy. And then the other aspect of it is designing your background and your elements so they all fit whatever your theme is, right? Okay, so questions, any questions from you guys? Okay.
To make sure we have that our elements are the right size, just go to the properties panel.
To make sure you have things the right size, yeah, go to the property.
Yeah, just go, okay, library and then properties, okay.
Yeah, now, what I was telling Amelia earlier, Latisse, is, you know, I recommend to you guys that you start out by creating your elements and shrinking them down to the same size as the elements in the game.
Okay,
Because that way they're just easy to replace.
right.
But if you end up with something that is a different size, you're still okay. You just have to replace the existing one with yours and put it in as much as the same place as possible so it appears in the same place in the game.
Okay,
You
understand.
know, one of the things that took me a while, I had to experiment with this, was figuring out exactly where to place this first guy, because here's the ground, but your first guy is actually a chunk off of the ground, right?
Yeah.
And I had to, you know, here's my guy. What I did was, you know, the trick is this, leave the existing guy in there on his own layer. That little black and white guy, leave him in there, make a new layer and put your guy in there so you can line him up with the existing guy, and leave the old guy in there until everything is just right. And then you can delete his layer, because now you know you're in the right place. Yeah.
Okay. What about when we start making our background? Like I had turned off some of the artwork and I saw underneath like the floating islands, it's these black lines. Do we just delete these elements and replace them with our own, like we are the characters?
Well, so once again, the best, here's two things you should definitely do. First, when you start working on your game, save it under a different name in the same folder.
Okay.
So you can always go back to the original if you screw up or you have a question or something, right? Second, everything that you replace, don't outright replace it. Put your stuff in on a new layer.
Okay.
And leave the existing thing in there until you're until you're sure it's right,
Okay.
and then delete the old thing.
Okay, I will do that. I will not be deleting until the end.
You go in and slash and burn like this is.
I don't know. I feel like I might accidentally push delete, so I better make a few copies.
Yeah, remember you can always go back to the original, especially if you create your artwork and everything and you have it, you know, available.
Yeah.
You can always reopen the original and replace, you know, art in there, start from scratch. So
Okay, thank you.
all right. So any more questions?
No.
Okay, so I want you guys to spend the rest of the period working on this. If we haven't seen any ideas from you guys yet, definitely work on some ideas to present to us next class. And if you've already got, you know, some ideas shown, see what you can do to come up with things like an idle state animation, a running state animation, a background, replace the different elements and so on and so forth. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, as usual, I'll turn my video off, but I'll be here if you have a question, just pipe up and I'll come back.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you.